What's up, everybody? Mr. Hollywood here. It's a late night show here of the XOHL. And I'm joined here by my co-host, my partner. Let me bring him in here. Hey, Rez. What's up,
Hey, what's
brother?
going on there?
How
I
you
didn't know if it was working because usually on the other thing I see the camera. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" I was so confused. But anyway, we're here. Some late XOHL show going on. I'm excited. Haven't done a show this late in a while.
No, sir. I don't think anybody has. You know what I mean? I was DM'd earlier to Hollywood. You sure? I don't think anybody done a 12:30 p.m. show. I know we don't expect much guys here to be in here, but if you are, thanks for joining in. I'll be definitely monitoring the chat on here. Anybody got any questions, comments, wants to know anything, or wants to ask us any questions, or if you want to come on here, let us know.
Absolutely.
We'll bring you guys in here as well. But I mean, it's a late night league, so we'll do a late night show. Unfortunately, Lacar could not be here. Unfortunately, I don't have all the graphics and stuff that he does. He has all these presentations, all these PowerPoint stuff. You're not going to see that on here. But one thing you are going to see, this is coming to you guys live on 3 separate platforms. You know how we do the multi-stream of the games? Well, this is being multi-streamed on Twitch, YouTube, as well as Facebook at the same time. So if you're joining in, regardless which device on there, there'll be a chat here for both. So I'll be able to see the comments, whether you're posting it on YouTube or whether you're posting it on Twitch. It'll come up through here, and we'll bring in some comments on here that you guys do have. We look into the standings here. We'll look on some of the leaderboards, how teams did last week, the performances of some of the players, and then we'll look into the matchups here for this week coming up. Actually, will be later on tonight. It's Thursday already.
Yeah, we're almost there. Less than 24 hours away.
So that's great. That's great. And like I said, anybody wants to join in the chat here, you're more than welcome to come. So, Rez, let me. You want to do that? Let me pull up the standings. I guess we'll start.
Yeah. I just got that set up myself.
And this was actually updated earlier today, just a couple of hours. There was
good call out. Yeah,
you know what I mean. There was a input that was incorrect on there. I know the Bananas might not like me right now, because they were at 11 points just a couple of hours ago. You guys were 4 points behind first place, but now it's different. You're only 2 points behind Penis. So Penis right now still holds the number 1 spot with a record of 21-3. You guys are 20-4. So just one game apart there, 2 points. Right below you guys are the No Life Gamers with 28 points. They're 13-9-2. And then at the number 4 spot, and this is the spot that a lot of teams, teams are trying to chase. Because remember, it's the top 4 teams that make it to the postseason. And that's St. John, same squanches over there with 17 points. Lag right below them, only 3 points behind. And the Bananas, which are 9 points. So they're 5 behind Lag, 8 behind the St. John team on there. And we'll discuss these teams if we think who's going to make it, how it's all going to mesh up. Because what we got, Rez, we got 1 or 2 weeks left still?
Yeah, so I believe the total is 36 games. So I'm pretty sure 2 weeks left. Yeah, 2 weeks left. So 12 games in total left for all the teams to really solidify their spots. Because, like you said, that 4th place spot is still very much up in the air. Got a lot of big matchups coming up this week with people in those 4 or 5 spots. And obviously for the Bananas in the 6th spot, they need to win every game they can. So, these are going to be really important next 2 weeks in the XOHL for some of these teams.
Absolutely. Well, right now, Rez, everybody is mathematically still in.
Yes, 100%.
Number 1 spot is still up for grabs there. Could be either team still there. So, so it makes interesting run. And I know there's been some roster changes. There have been some trades, some moves that happened. And this past week, you want to go through that? We'll take a look at the results from this past week.
Yeah, definitely.
How teams did on here. I know your team did very well, man. You guys ran a perfect 6-0 this past week. So I'm gonna get that up on here. Let me scroll down.
The ticker that Manolis actually has all the results from last week as well, just for an overview. Obviously, it doesn't have the player results, but the scores and everything are on there, so we could kind of like go back and forth in that regard.
Okay. I should have got that on here. I'll get that on here if we need that. Well, I got it here in case we want to go into the game or whatnot. But basically, these are the results from last week. There's all the scores from Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So the Hammerhawks, like I mentioned, went 6-0. Perfect. I think you guys are like on a 9-game winning streak at this point.
Yeah. I don't remember
after that
where it started, but it sounds about right because I know we lost early in the season to Team Penis, and that was 2 games. So after those 2 games, we've only lost 2 the whole way after that. So I would say 9-game win streak sounds about right.
Absolutely. Penis had a solid week as well. They went 5-1, 10 points gained on there this past week. Now the other 4 teams, Gamers, I feel like the Gamers, I mean, they're right there at the 3 spot, but they're a lot of points behind you guys, and the team below them is a lot of points behind. So I feel like they're kind of coasting in there, man, at that 3 spot. It's a spot that really I don't think anyone's going to gain, and I think that's where they'll finish with only 12 games remaining, but we'll see what happens. They had a pretty decent week here, 3-2-1. They captured 7 points this week. So not a bad week, not an awful week, not a great week, but decent. Just how they've been doing here all season, pretty average on there, you might say. Now the other 3 teams here didn't do so well this week. Didn't do so well on here. I'm gonna start with St. John. They went 2-3-1. They still managed 5 points though in this week, which was not horrible, but
one of those wins though was a pretty big upset. That's for sure.
It was.
They managed to get a win off of Team Penis, which was their first against that team this season. So I think they're making good strides for these next 2 weeks in that sense, and they keep playing the way they have been against good teams, and they could easily lock up that 4th spot.
And you mentioned that win, and it was, and not only that, they shut them out.
They shut them out, 6-zip shutout, by Bryce Robin in that huge game. I was watching that as I was playing my game last week.
Yeah, and I think that's the first time that Penis not only lost the game, but they got shut out. First time they got shut out here this season. They did all right. I mean, but then towards the end of the week, they started dropping on there. They lost to the Bananas one of the games where Bananas ended up coming back, beating them, and then they lost 2 against the Gamers. So they're actually on a 3-game losing streak to end the week. But the thing is, both Lag and Bananas had a chance here this week because, like I said, St. John only got 2 wins this week. But unfortunately, both Lag and Bananas had a bad week, 1-5, both of them. They only got 2 points here this week. So even with St. John's not having a great week here, they still remain at that number 4 spot because both Lag and Bananas unable to move up or gather those points where they could have really, got to the that level where actually be maybe like a point or 2 behind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up the standings back up on here. We'll get into some of these teams on here. I mean, since I'm discussing St. John, I want to go there. I'm going to go there right now, man.
Okay.
Because that's one of the teams that's really been talked about this season, whether it's on the Discord or it's been in Xbox Live parties, in the chats there and stuff, also on these shows. And, it's a team a lot of us, including myself, thought was going to be a solid team here this season. Especially the players that are on this team. Now, I look at this team. I look at the standings. I mean, right now, what are they? They got 8 wins, 15 losses, 1 overtime loss. So they're not even at that 500 level. They're below that.
Yeah, a lot.
And what I look on here, I mean, I look at their penalty minutes, 134 penalty minutes this season. I also look at, goals against, goals for on here. It's not good. It's not looking good. Um, let me pull up the roster. See what's going on as far as player performance on here. I think the big key here. There's three reasons, Rez. I'm gonna, and then you could comment on this, how you feel or you feel otherwise. Three reasons why I think St. John is where they are at this point. Three players I think here that are not performing to the level that they should. Number one, I'm going to start with this guy, Noto. Okay, Noto is a tremendous player. I've known Noto, in other leagues as well. Tremendous player, tremendous forward. He's doing great here on this team. The problem is his availability doesn't look to be great on here. And then when he is available, sometimes they throw him in net on there.
Yeah.
And I question that on there. A guy that's putting up the points that he is, why is he being thrown in net on here? I don't think St. John has a backup goalie. I mean, I look at
he's the backup goalie. That's the problem.
So, and that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing on there because Brace is not there. That means you're throwing Noto in there on the nights that you could barely get him, and then you finally get him. Now he's in net.
Yeah, he's not even playing forward now.
And it's a guy on there. I mean, you look at his games played. You look at his points. I mean, as far as the points on this team, you mentioned this on the previous show
last week. Yeah, exactly.
22 points on 6 games played. So if I'm running this team, Rez, I don't care what it is. If I got to put myself in that on here, if that's what LaCar's got to do, or I keep Noto on the offensive line because he's the guy that's putting up the points for you on there. So I think that's number one. Why I think this team. Number two, I'm going to mention here, Disney is greedy. I got a problem here, J-Rez, because Disney, in almost any league you put this guy in, he's easily a top 5 defenseman in the league.
Yeah,
Here in the XOHL, it's not the case, though. It's not the case here. One big stat I'm looking on here, guy's got 33 penalty minutes. 33 penalty minutes. He leads the team in penalty minutes, and that shouldn't be the reason here. You look at his takeaways, giveaways ratio. Giveaways are horrendous on here. For a defenseman this caliber on here, I'm sorry, man, but this guy has to be a lot better than that. He is not, and I think that's another key reason why. Number 3, I hate to say it, man, but I think Brace Robin should be playing a lot better than he is. He's drafted as the number 1 goaltender in this draft on here. You look at his numbers. You look at his save percentage. He's barely at that 70 percentage, 72.3%. He's given up almost close to 4 goals against average. As a goaltender that was drafted, first on here, again, that's got to be better. I think they got some great forwards. You got Sophisticated on there. You got Owen Wilson, Lebronto. These guys could put up numbers on here. There's no reason for this team to be struggling the way they are.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there has been some changes, though, in regards to their gameplay. I'll get into that in a second. One of my comments in regards to, we're talking about goalies and those situations where Brace can't play, you have to throw Noto in net. I'm not sure if Lebronto has goalie as an availability on his, when he signed up. But if he does have it, that's a guy you need to throw in net. I know he could play offense, but he's a solid goalie. We both know that. So I think if that's an availability, I would totally do that in those situations because Noto he's not a goalie. I mean, at least just from the game that we've seen in this league. But he could put points up, and Lebronto could do the same. Lebronto's got 12 goals in 6 games, but you got 2 guys who could both clearly produce offensively. Why not use the guy who could actually play goaltending really well? Then, they put themselves in a much better position. Just looking at the roster, though, from the previous shows that we've done with the car and all that, statistically, Owen and, a few players on the team, they were not producing at all. What I have seen, though, over the last week plus is Owen's numbers are finally skyrocketing in that sense. Because I remember, in the beginning of the season, he only had like 6 games played and, 7 points or something like that, something really bad, something that, a player like him just is not normally, doing. So his actual output over the last week and change has been at a much higher rate. Sophisticated is getting more assists because of that, because somebody's finally putting the puck in the back of the net. Noto, obviously, from the looks of the stats, has not played a single game on offense last week. And then I think another good addition to the team was Demon from the trade, who actually, from the games that I've seen him play for the team, has actually come up pretty clutch in a few situations and actually been, a reason why they've won a game or two. So I actually think this team is playing better. They didn't have as good of a week as they needed to, obviously, but they did better than the 2 teams behind them. And that's always going to be the most important thing going forward, is if you could stay ahead of those 2 teams behind you, you're not going to have to worry about getting into the playoffs. It's yours. But I do think that this team is going to start playing better. I think that maybe depending on their matchup this coming week, we might see a positive in regards to the wins and losses. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but I'd say, instead of 2-3-1, they might go 3-2-1 or 4-2 this week. It's very possible depending on the matchups. And if they do keep playing well and produce offensively like they have been recently, which allowed them to beat last week Penis in one of the games, shutting them out 6-0. If they play like that, they could easily, in these next 12 games, potentially give No Life Gamers a run for that 3rd spot if things work out for them. And those matchups where they play that team, No Life and Sam Squanch, I think are going to be pretty interesting as well, because they could always jump that spot, get into the 3rd spot, and not have to play the 1st seed when they get into the playoffs in the 1st round. If they do, obviously, this is all hypothetical. But I see a lot of upside for this team is what I'm kind of getting at, more so than I did in previous weeks.
Absolutely. I got to agree a lot of points. You mentioned a good thing about with Owen Wilson being more active. I think when they picked up Lebronto, and having Lebronto on this roster has definitely made Owen Wilson more active on here in the game with that forward line. Demon is a great point too. I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about this guy. I don't know where he came from or anything, but
former XOHLer from back in the day, was around when the league was still around before it got restarted, obviously. So he's been around the block in XO. He's been he's run teams before and all that. So he has a history in the XOHL.
Okay. But he's doing good, man. He's doing great. The number of games played on there, as far as point wise, he looked real good this past week on there. So I think that was a great pickup there. And we'll see. We'll see if LaCar is able to put the pieces on here. I still think they do get into the postseason on here. You mentioned the big win against Penis. It was definitely great. And it's all about availability on this team. I think I don't think that hurts. They're swapping guys around. Guys are playing out of position there. And I think that's the main struggle for this team, especially when they played the Gamers this past Thursday. A lot of guys were not there, man. They ended up using guys or guys off the free agency list. So that hurts. That hurts the team. That happens in the playoffs on there. This team could be out quick, man. But I think that's
if you look at the numbers and the way in regards to what you're saying about the inconsistency with having people play all the time is, we're 4 weeks in. And you have 14 games, exactly. Sophisticated, only 13 games. Demon, only 9. Noto, only 6 games. I mean, the most consistent players are the defensemen, Disney and Lucara. And like you were saying, Disney's having a bad season to his standards, and I'm sure he knows that. Like you said, his giveaways are a team high, 176. In 17 games, so he's giving the puck away at least 10 times a game. He's doing well with interceptions. He is leading the team in interceptions, and he's also second in the team in takeaways. But that giveaway number, I think, is what is also, I think, hurting goaltending, at least, to start the season, because maybe, before everybody was playing well or not showing up for their games or whatever the case is, maybe Disney was trying to do too much as a defenseman in that sense and try to, carry the load on his shoulders. And, playing that type of game, especially as a defenseman, you're gonna make a lot of obviously mistakes in that sense, because you're gonna try to compensate for where other aspects of the team are not performing to their standard.
Absolutely. All right, so that's pretty much a good breakdown there for the St. John. And remember, Lucara was also on vacation this past week, so the team still managed on there, play the games, but holding on to that fourth spot right there. Who do you want to dive into next, man? Any particular team on here?
Let's do the Legends of Lag. The Louisiana Legends of Lag. I don't know if you noticed, but I just noticed it for the first time today because we were playing some club before we started the show. I guess they messed up when they were writing the team name in the club on NHL. So they forgot to add an I at the end. So instead of Louisiana, it's Louisiana. So they are now officially the Louisiana Legends of Lag. So
that is funny, man. And actually, somebody in the chat there did mention that, man.
Yeah, Kessel. He was mentioning it to us, and I didn't even notice because I played a lot of games late at night with them, after league, and we play in that Legends of Lag club, and not once did I ever notice that Louisiana was improperly spelled.
We got to update the My Stats Online there as well.
Yeah, we got to change it all completely. It's Louisiana. If anybody says Louisiana, you're out of the league.
Well, listen, this team has made a lot of changes, man. A lot of
they have
moves, on there,
and you can see it on the ice. You actually can see there is a difference. The record doesn't show it, but you can see that there has been an improvement in that sense.
Yeah. The problem here I see with this team, I think they gotten better, playing great hockey. They're in a lot of close games, man. They're in a lot of battles, but they're losing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Listen, I mean, we're playing a game here, online hockey, NHL 21 on the Xbox. We're not out here, shooting darts or playing horseshoes, or tossing hand grenades. Where close would be great. This team would be awesome.
Yeah.
But you got to get the wins, man. And at this point, even overtime losses is not. You got to get the gather the points. You're 3 points behind St. John. So a sweep by Lag won the games, and a loss there by St. John could flip these teams, just like that. And I see a lot of potential here in this team, but it hasn't showed, man. It hasn't shown on the ice. I mean, you look at their goals against. It's almost up there with the Bananas. 116 goals against. That's a lot, man. That's a lot of goals they're giving up. Let me pull up this team, man. Let me pull up the Lag. They went 1-5 this week, which is not good, man. Not good at all. I know there were no tough battles. You guys played them there. One of the games was close there. It was 3-1. The week before that, on there, they played Penis. And those games, they kept in there in the beginning, but as the game progressed on there, Penis ended up winning both of those. Trollby. And their only game win there was against the Gamers, 6-4. But the first game they got blown out. It was like 7-1 final. So I'm looking at this team. I mean, you got Kessel, Casey, Shotgun, Dragon Skate on there, Beer Captain, BC Renton, King Manotas, Flaming Dragon was a newly pickup. That's more Tax, Buddha Baker, and K. Villy. I mean, there's definitely talent here. They're solid on that, man. I mean, you got Darius in that. Deathmore has been stepping up too, man. Deathmore has been playing, which I think might be their best goalie on here for performance-wise. He had a great week, man. He had a great week despite the losses there.
Definitely.
So I don't think that's the issue on here. I mean, why is the struggle here, Rez, man? I mean, why can't they get over that hump, man, and uh, right now be in that fourth spot?
Listen, I mean, they made some moves. I don't think that the trades they made have been impacting the team at all. Um, they did get a good pickup in free agency, the RFA's Buda Baker, which he's got 3 games. He's only got 4 points, and it's clearly, obviously, something's not meshing because he is a very talented player. And just from my looking at the roster, you throw Buda Baker with Master Shotgun and Kessel on a line, and you'd think that this team would be pretty successful in that sense. But unfortunately, the primary amount, the primary point scorer on the team is Kessel, and just from the stats, he's doing a load of the work. Master Shotgun, another quality player in these NHL leagues. He's just not having a great season, unfortunately. 13 games, 22 points. He's averaging a goal a game. It's not terrible, but not great. I know he's very capable of doing a lot more. So there's clearly something just not clicking with this team because they have some really good players on this squad, and it's just I don't know, on a team level something's not working because they're just not getting enough production offensively. Like you mentioned last week against Team Penis, they played pretty good for the first 2 periods of both of those games for the most part, and unfortunately got out of hand in the third period. But there's just something's not working right there, and they're really desperate to get points on the board. I mean, it's not enough.
I mean, it seems like it's all based on Kessel on here. If Kessel has a bad night, this team's going to have a bad night. And the thing is, I think they're putting a lot of pressure on this guy, and there's a lot of pressure put on him. Yes, he's got 39 points for them. So, yes, he's the guy that's leading the team here. But on top of that, so you're trying to give him the puck, but, so he controls the puck most of the time here on this team. But then, he's also got so much giveaways, I think somebody else has to step up for this team. Whether it's Flaming Dragon on there, whether it's Buda Baker, I think it's time to change things around, man. Get something going on here. You only got 12 games remaining. You got to make things happen here this week. Right now, they're only 3 points behind St. John, so
it's close. Yeah,
they're in there, man. They're in there, but they can't have another 1-5 week here. That happens again here this week. I think you could kiss away that picture.
The only way they get away with it is if Sam Swanch go 0-6. If that happens, then the week after will be a whole different story once again. But that's a big ask.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. I agree, and I mean we'll find out. We'll see what happens here this week. Do they got to get the new guys in there to be playing the games? They've been playing good, but good's not enough right now. It's crunch time here. Final games of the week. They've got 12 games remaining here in the season. We'll see if they could step up on here for the Louisiana line. Maybe they got to do the name change. Maybe that's what it is. You got to fix the name on there.
Embrace the Louisiana, maybe.
Yeah, man. They got to get something, man. Something's got to happen.
Listen, I don't know what their day-to-day lines look like. Obviously, schedules play factors and being able to play certain people, and also obviously factoring being able to make sure everybody gets their minimum games as well. So I don't know how often they're running certain lines, but just from my perspective, if I was the coach for this team in that sense, and I get to build my fantasy roster in that sense, I would love to see Kessel, Shotgun, and Buda Baker on the line. I don't know if they've already done it or not, but I really feel like those 3 guys on the same line together with good defense behind them, and then you throw Darius or Death Maul in net. I'm very interested to see that. I'm going to take a look at the previous games played just to see what lineups they have been running with. But and if anybody's watching this who's on the team or knows if that line has been put together for a game, let me know. But that's, I think, the line that could really make it or break it for this team and put them over that edge and get them that last playoff spot.
I think I saw one game. I don't know if it's correct though. If I remember correctly, I think Buda Baker was on D one of the games. So I'm like, why is he?
Really?
Why he's out there? Yeah.
Well, see, now that makes me think even more because this is top line forward. I know it. I've seen it. He's in a different league that I'm in, and this guy could play and he could put up the points, man. And I would strongly advise them to use him properly in that sense.
And maybe that's the issue here. Maybe they've got players, but more of the offensive side, guys that are playing on the offense. And maybe it is the defense, man. Maybe it's the, they're giving up a lot. I think
it's a team defense. That's what it is. I don't think it's defense, just specifically the defensive players. I think it's the team defense because, like you said, Kessel 204 giveaways. Casey 117 giveaways, Master Shotgun 99 giveaways. They're not, they're losing the puck. A lot of these guys are losing the puck, and their takeaways and interceptions are nowhere near the giveaways, and it's going to hurt a lot of times because you unfortunately get put in bad positions when you turn the puck over, and defense creates offense in that sense. And I'm not saying, I'm not watching every single game saying that Kessel's losing the puck way too many times in bad spots, but I'm just saying, a lot of times those numbers rack up, and it shows statistically just because this team unfortunately is just not getting it done. But I still feel that there's a few tweaks that they could make and make a run for it. It's possible. And they're very close. I mean, they're, like you said, they're only 3 points out of a playoff spot. It's right there for them.
I mean, they're given the chances on here because, like I said, St. John didn't have a tremendous week. They only had 2 wins this week. So they're given the opportunity to make that comeback to get that spot. We'll see if that works out here this week. And Kessel did point in the chat that Buda did not play on DL. So I must have mistaken. Maybe I saw a beer captain or something. They both start with B's, man. I mean, I apologize for that. All right. So that breaks that down on there. What do you want to jump into more teams, or should we go into the leaderboards? What do you want to do, Rez, man?
We're
pretty much winging it here tonight.
We're shooting the shit, having some fun, covering some stuff because otherwise we wouldn't cover what happened last week. But let's do one more team, and then we could veer off to something else and come back to it. I don't mind. Well, we did Sam Squanch, we did Louisiana, so let's go with the bottom of the 3 there and talk about the Bananas and what this team needs to do to become relevant and get themselves in a possible playoff situation. It's obviously the least possible chance of any team to make it as we speak, but I still think that they have a chance to do well these next 2 weeks, just depending on who they wind up playing in the games. It's matchups are so important. So if they could put their newly brought in players on a line as often as possible, and I'm talking about Caberlet, Stewie Jopa, and then you throw in a mix of let's say Lito or Randy. This could be a very formidable line, and they played against Team Penis as well, and compared to previous games against that team with their new line, they actually did pretty well. Like they weren't crushed. They didn't get destroyed by any team this week, from my knowledge. I'll take a look at the scores again before I put my foot in my mouth.
No, you're right. You're right, Rez. I look at
the first game. The first game against Penis on Saturday, they lost 6-4. That is huge for that team compared to the games they used to play against that team.
Right, 16
completely different difference. Exactly.
And you know what's funny? We had those blowouts, and then we bring in the mercy rule on there, and we didn't need it this week. Because they have made Yes, they went 1-5 this week, but you look at their games, it's a lot different, than the way they started. They were in all those games, playing against Penis on there. 1-0 was one of the games. 1-0, man.
That's
Uh,
crazy. That's
you know,
crazy.
so
That shows me that at least from a defensive aspect, they have changed the whole complexion of what this team is. Like you said, previous weeks, 16-0. I don't know what the other scores were, but like 10-2 or whatever it was.
they,
Crazy out of hand games, but
they played you
they
guys.
are.
It was 3-2, one of the games.
Yeah, I
3.
was just going to mention
Both,
that 3
both of
nothing
them.
and 3-2, like low scoring, good defensive games. So they've made huge strides, and the record obviously doesn't show that. But I think in
Right.
these next 2 weeks, we could see a big difference in that sense, depending on what lines we see and how often we see them this week and next week.
Absolutely.
They need the top dogs playing as much as possible. In those situations, it's not close for them. They are let's see how many points are they out?
Well,
What are they at 9 now, right?
9. They're 5 points behind lag on there.
That's not bad. 5 points behind lag, 8 points behind Sam Squanch. That's 4 games. That is a bit. But Sam Squanch, like I said, hasn't been doing that well themselves. So in those games where they play each other, that's going to be huge. And they're also going to need to rely on the Legends of Lag beating Sam Squanch on Thursday, because although Lag will get a few points away from them, they'll manage to keep Sam Squanch, at that same mark. So I think, there's a lot of matchups that are going to play into this, and, certain teams are going to need to win and lose for them to basically get a shot at trying to get into the playoffs. But I've seen crazier things happen.
Absolutely. Yes, I mean, you look at the standings right now, their points, penalty minutes, goals against, the differential, it's terrible, but it's not the team that they started out with, I think if Jim had the players he has now, beginning of the season, this team would be a whole lot different,
Absolutely.
It's a team that just got these players, so they're trying to mix in on there. You gotta also note that it's not a team that's had these guys from the start, where they've gelled on here at this point. So I think we're gonna see a better week here this week from them on there. They're definitely more competitive on here. The games are much better, but they got to start getting the wins. One interesting fact here: look at Jim from Files. He played 2 games in that on here for the Bananas. Got an 82.4 save percentage on here. He's doing the best job on there as compared to all his goaltenders,
Yeah.
But yeah, they got some key players now. Caberlet in the mix, I think, really helps this team out.
That was a huge pickup. And they got him for free too.
So we'll see what happens. It's not a team that you just you're like before it was like, oh, we're playing the Bananas. How many goals can we score on these guys? And mathematically, these guys are still in. They're still in. 12 games
They're in
on here.
They're in, and it's not that bad. And I'm we have 2 weeks left of games, and since we only have 6 teams to begin with, there's definitely going to be a Bananas Sam Squanch matchup, and there's definitely going to be a Bananas Legends of Lag matchup. So those are going to be super important games for Bananas, and those are going to be the games that they need to win, because if they could do that, climb the standings, and make sure the teams directly ahead of them don't move, they're going to put themselves in an even better situation. You can see a quick flip, in a week's time. But it all comes down to winning those must-win games against those teams right next to you in the standings.
Yeah. Listen, man, they got 3 wins against St. John this season, so they got to start getting wins against the other teams as well. Yep. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think there in the chat. You guys think Bananas still? Is there any Banana players out there watching? If you guys still think Bananas have a chance here to try to get that playoff spot, that number 4 spot, which right now being held there by St. John, or is it too little, too late here for them? They got the players to do it now, man.
They do.
I agree with that. But we'll see. We'll see if they've got enough games and points here to do so. They need a big week here this week. They got to have a positive week here. no doubt. They got to start winning series, possibly sweeping series here this
I think
week.
the goalie matchup is going to be very big too. Who they decide to put in net, because
Yeah.
just from the stats, there's been a goalie by committee going on for this team, and it has not been working out. But like you said, I think Jim might be the bright spot there. 2 games, 824 save percentage, 3 goals against. Both of them are losses, but compared to what they normally put out there, it was much better games.
Well, that's the
So
thing. I mean, it's
yeah,
2 losses, and he still got those numbers.
those are good. Those are
Yeah.
really good. So maybe that might also help them out there. Maybe they need somebody new in net, and they could rally around Jim playing goalie. It's very possible because they have plenty of other defensemen who could play well. I
Mhm.
know Lido knows how to play defense. They have Turk, another good defender. Phoenix, I'm pretty sure could play D. So the TP could play D. So I think he's got enough personnel to help him out in that sense, and maybe he needs to get in net and see if he could help the team climb out of this hole.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So there we go with the bananas. Jim and the boys still battling out there. Trying to fight for that spot here this season. Like I said, every team is still in it mathematically here. There's always a chance, and like I said, but they need a good solid week here this week, and
Yep.
if they could get that, come down the stretch there for the final week. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. If they could try to at least cut these points down to half. Try to get where the lag is at this point. And then I'll work on Sam Squatch next week. All right. So that does that on there. I don't have much to say about the gamers. Like I said, I think the gamers are mainly coasting on here because just of the position where they're at. It's I don't see St. John's gaining their 11 points behind the gamers, but then gamers are also 12 points behind you guys. So they're in that weird spot where I don't see them moving up or down at this point. I think they're gonna remain there at the third spot. And I don't know, maybe that's the issue. Maybe, like I said, they're. I mean, they've been playing great. They've been having great corner. They played you guys real close as well. I mean, Kurt Dog and the boys. I think Kurt Dog has definitely done a good job here. Ploop, Flamesman, and the guys there played real great. Had a good solid week. 3-2-1, not bad. 7 points. Of the 12 points that they could have got, but it's I, it just I don't see anything that stands out on here of them being like wow, what I mean. They've had an impressive. It's been pretty much mediocre, average each week with these guys. So we'll see. I know Clancy. I didn't see much. I know I didn't see him here this week. So I know Kurdok had to do a couple of things on their different goaltenders they used. He picked up a guy on there. So I think that's a big part too. I think if Clancy's more active here for him and he gets to utilize him much better, maybe this
Yeah.
could be better. I mean, they've got players there to do it. Dangles is having a tremendous week. The newly quiet first one's on there, so he's definitely got guys that can put pucks in the net, man. Flamesman, 56 points and Poop 53. I mean, those guys combined over
Yeah,
100.
they're having good seasons in that sense. Yeah.
So, um, but is it going to be enough against the top dogs? We'll see. With the gamers, I mean, I don't want to spend much time there. Penis. We know how good the Hawks are on there. I'll give a good stat factor here, though, on the Hawks for the Hamilton Hammerhawks. Here's a good stat. Least penalty minutes out of
Oh,
any
really?
here in this league. Yeah, least penalty minutes, least goals against of any team here in this league, and undefeated in overtime here this season for the Hamilton Hammerhawks. And I think that's why they stay there right now at that number 2 spot, just 2 points behind Penis. I mean, we looked like a week or two ago on there. It looked like nobody was even going to be mentioned or catching up to this Penis team as far as points wise. There were so much ahead, but now only 2 points. 2 weeks still left on here. Anything can happen. I think we could see a change there between the number 1 and number 2 spot, and that's huge. That's huge here because instead of playing Gamers round 1, you could be playing somebody like St. John or Lag or Bananas, depending who gets that 4th spot.
Well, yeah, this is going to be interesting because first matchup tomorrow, this Thursday, Penis and Hammerhawks. So this is literally going to be, will the standings change or will they stay the same? So it's going to be 2 pretty big games in that sense.
Huge.
And I'm curious to see what lines Team Penis is going to be rolling out because last few matchups we've had with them, I don't think have been their traditional main line. I remember last time we played them, I think Geezer was playing defense. But these are going to be 2 very interesting games tomorrow, and I will be playing. So it's going to be tough and it's going to be fun. So I'm excited for tomorrow.
It's 2-2, right? You guys on the
it is 2-2. Yeah, it is 2-2. Yeah.
All right, so that'd be huge. That'd be big on there. Just to get the head-to-head, because should you guys, finish with the same points on there, it's big, getting the head-to-head matchup there. So that should be interesting. Great matchup to look for this week. That'll definitely be on the live stream there for the multi-stream. So I want to go really quick over the leaders right now, who we see, and then I want to go over for this week. So, I mean, not much has changed. Geezer's still on there. He's got his 100 points for the season already.
He's having quite the season, to say the least.
Not only that, he's also. I mean, I think we could give him the Rocket Richard.
Nobody's catching him
for the most goals.
Nobody's catching him.
You might as well give him the award right now.
It's basic. Congratulations, Geezer, on behalf of the XOHL. You've won the Rocket Richard Trophy. I mean, I could have said that last week also, or the week before.
Even if he takes off the rest of the 2 weeks.
100%. If he doesn't play another game the whole time, he's still won this trophy. He won't win the most points, but if that's the case, but he'll definitely have the most goals, and it doesn't matter if he plays another minute of fucking hockey. So,
absolutely. Look at some of the goaltenders here. Ponchi, he's the shutouts. He's got 4 shutouts. He also leads the most wins, 19 wins in that there for Team Penis.
In regards to goalies, I'm going to give a huge shout out to, Zombie, of course, having a phenomenal season. He's the anchor of the team, but in those backup moments, Stephen Strange, he is playing some lights out hockey.
Absolutely.
He's not playing often, unfortunately. He's a busy man. I think a lot of the games that he plays is during his lunch break for work, which is at night. So he's like coming to play and then going to work right after. But he has been playing some phenomenal goalie. I wish we could get even more games out of him in that sense. He's got a 1.8 goals against. I think he's already at
right there, man.
Where's he at? Like, I think how many wins on the season? I'm trying to.
Well,
5 wins on the season. He's been stellar. He's
got almost close to a 90% save percentage.
He's amazing.
He's
amazing, and he won that game, I believe, against Team Penis when we played them the week before. I'm pretty sure that was him in net. It was. I'm 1,000% sure, actually. So he's been a really clutch backup in that sense when he's available.
And you know what? That's where I want to go right now. I'm going to start with the goalies here this week. Why not, man?
Let's do it.
We'll go with the goalies, and I'm going to pull up on here for the performance for this past week. So it's going to base the stats on this past week, and on the goalie spot, your team, the Hammerhawks, there's actually 3 goalies that are playing great. Zombie Brains, Stephen Strange, and even the new guy, coming in there. I mean, look at these save percentage. Zombie Brain's impressive 94.7 this week. Goals against 0.50. He only let in one goal. Same thing with New Guy, man. Only one goal allowed on there. 88.9 save percentage. Stephen Strange did let in a little bit more goals, but only 3. But he did face a lot more shots. 23 saves here. 88.5 save percentage. So I think all 3 of those goaltenders, whoever you put in net there, has been phenomenal. You guys definitely have a solid goal. So, let's say Strange is not there, or New Guy's not there, Zombie's not there. Each one is able to pick that up, and that's big. That's big to see. You just look at this week's performance on that, I mentioned Jim from Files on there. I mean, look at him this week. That one game played, only 82.4 save percentage for him, 14 saves, 3 goals allowed. That was big. That was big, even though their team lost on there. I think that was that might have been against you guys. I think that was that 3-0 loss there where they didn't put up any goals, but, he played phenomenal. Panchi right there below had a good week as well. He's the only goaltender that had 4 wins. Got all 4 wins there for Penis. The other games he did not play. That was actually with I believe that was. Let me pull him up here. Let me get the one. That was Hysteric Hill that played the other games. So he had a good week. 82%, still up there on those leaderboards, still doing his thing. Still got a shutout here this week. Got all 4 wins. That's more I mentioned, for Lag, even though Lag had a 1-5 week, the man put 81.3 save percentage here this week.
Yeah. Shout
out to him. So those are the guys that did great. The guys towards the bottom, I have a problem here, man. If I was going to put a shedder on the goaltenders, 3 guys I want to mention. Well, number 1, we already mentioned this on the show. I don't know why Noto's in net on there.
He obviously shouldn't be playing in that. With what he's doing on offense, it just doesn't make sense. But I get that they don't have anybody else, but they got to figure something out.
I'm not gonna mention much about him. The other guy I have a problem here, Brace Rob. Brace Robin started the week off great. He had a shutout on there against Penis.
That was huge.
But then what happened after that? He lost the next 3. Went 1-3 this week. A 69.2 save percentage is not going to cut it, especially if you're drafted as the number 1 goaltender here this season. That if he wasn't the name, if let's say we were talking about a regular goalie, I maybe I wouldn't be so hard on this guy, but I think that's got to be a lot better, man. 69.2 save percentage is not Brace Robin hockey, man. I know he could do a lot better on there for St. John, but maybe it's something that's not working around on the ice. Maybe it is the defense, man. Maybe it is Disney taking all those penalties where they are shorthanded a lot on there. He's facing a lot of pucks, 52 shots faced this week, but Hysteric Hell did not have a good debut here this week. That's for sure. A 66.7 save percentage was not well, and that was the games there they lost. I believe against
the shutout game, right?
Yeah. So that would really hurt them, on there. I'm not going to mention much about Villy because he's not really a goaltender there. He did play a game there for Lag, not a good one, and Phoenix as well. I don't think the Bananas should use Phoenix in that, man. A 5.17 goals against average. Like I said, if I'm the Bananas, I get Jim with the pads in there and put them in there, man. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, just from the number aspect from those few games he played, looks like it might help them out in that sense because they just haven't gotten any consistent goaltending from anybody, and they've given quite a few different goalies a chance, and it's just obviously it also has to do with the fact that like we said, this was a different team just a week or 2 before, so back when they were playing their first few weeks, 3 weeks of games, they were getting creamed a lot of games, and there was just no team cohesion. So, teams changed a bit. They're actually competitive now. The record, obviously, like we said, hasn't shown it, but the games that they played in have definitely shown it. So, maybe if they play the way they've been playing and actually get over the hump and start winning some games against important teams, we'll actually see better goaltending from any of the goalies they put in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my top three here goalies this week. At number three, I'm going with Panchi. 4 wins here and that. Had a shutout, 82 save percentage there for Penis. Still, because you look at, a lot of people said, because he's playing for Penis, punching out. But look, Historic Hell played 2 games in that on there. Wasn't as good as Panchi, was it? No, man. So Panchi's doing his thing, man. Nicky Pats, shout out to him, man. I got him at number 8. He got my respect here this week. Number 3 spot. Number 2, I'm going with Stephen Strange. Stephen Strange, again, makes my top 3 here this week. 88.5 save percentage on here. And then there's 23 saves this week, getting both of the wins. And then number 1, it's going to be Zombie Brains. And not only because of the numbers. I mean, he had the best save percentage here this week. He had the least goals against average on here. He had a shutout. But also, he did it against the Gamers, the Low Life Gamers team, the number 3 ranked team. It wasn't like it was against the Bananas or Lag or St. John. No, it was against the Gamers. He only gave up 1 goal all night. That's my top 1 star there for goalies.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to piggyback off of that. And I'm not trying to be biased towards my team, but what they've been able to do this season is really, really amazing. And, and also, obviously the team aspect of how the whole team as a whole plays defense and all that, plays into it as well. But, it's because of them that we're able to, play a much better style of defense because, they do a great job keeping the puck out of the net. And it's amazing that, after the trades that went down the previous week, they brought in another goalie and, we have 3 really solid goalies that really could pick up the slack whenever somebody is not around to play. And that's huge. You don't normally see a team that has, 3 goalies that can all step up and play really big, important minutes. It's not a very common thing to see.
Absolutely. So there's the goalies breakdown on here this week. A lot of people said we don't really show much love for the goalies. Well, here you go, man. There's the goalies this week performance. We'll see what happens here for this week for the games coming up, which start tonight, Thursday night. Make sure you tune in for the multi-stream. Let me move on to the players, the skaters on here. Let me put it all. And let me just do a breakdown here for this week, just the weekly stats. So, point-wise, no question there. Geezer, 20 points, solid week for him. Owen Wilson had a tremendous week as well for St. John. Like I said, him and LeBronto really connected on there. Yeah, 19 points. 7 goals, 12 assists here this week. Dax, as always, still up there on the leaderboard. Same thing with Flex. Solid week, 15 points, as well as Ploop, Flamesman. Caberlet on the top 10 here, points here this week. And I think he played real well there for the Bananas this week,
Huge. That game where they beat No Life Gamers. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Was it No Life Gamers or Sam Squanch? I'm already forgetting.
St. John, yeah, St. John.
St. John, yeah, that overtime game. What was it, like 6-5, I believe?
Yeah, yes.
He was. I mean, that was clutch, man. That was clutch because I remember we were covering that game, and I think Sam Squanch scored a goal to go up, and then I believe he tied the game with barely any time left on the clock, and then, if I'm not mistaken, he might have scored the game winner in OT, but I think he had a hat trick, but phenomenal, truly phenomenal.
He did definitely put up a lot of points. I mean, look at that, 7 goals, 5 assists, 12 points, and that's playing on the Orangeville Bananas. That's the other thing you got to understand on here. You look at the leaderboard here, you don't see another banana until you go down to like the 15th spot. The only problem I had with Cabaret this week, I want to mention on there, um, he took a fighting penalty on there, and I know you want to get the team's energy up there, get the motivation going on there, but I disagree with that, man. I think Cabaret needs to be on this ice as much time as possible, for this Bananas team. You got to get him on here in the roster. He's got to be in the lineup, and he's got to be on the ice, man. And the least penalties he takes on there, the better for the Bananas. That's the only problem I have here with him. 12 minutes here this week, and like I said, one of them was that fight, which I disagree on there. Because once he's off the ice, the team struggles to get the points on there. He's a big part to the offense, and he needs to be on there for them. What do you want me to categorize this? What do you want to see for as far as stats? Any category hits, giveaways? Takeaways?
Yeah, let's do takeaways. Let's talk about some defensive aspects. We don't do that too often. Might as well.
Well, it's crazy that Geezer puts up all these points, the goals, 12 goals, 8 assists. He also had the most takeaways this week, 23 takeaways.
He's a busy man on the ice. He definitely is. Zipping around everywhere.
Look, and listen, this guy could play defense too. I've seen him play defense in other leagues as well. So he knows both ends of the ice. That's for sure. And offensively wise, listen, the guy causes turnovers in the offensive zone there as well.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
So that happens. So 23 for him. Ploop with 22. Again, another tremendous playmaker out there. Here's an interesting one. Ian DeBrian for the Orange Bananas, 21. And how about this? The guy that wants to show here, Lacara, 21 takeaways.
Yeah, actually, that game against Penis, when they won 6-0, they were playing some really lockdown defense, and I remember him getting quite a few interceptions and takeaways. I think that game was huge in that sense because I had not seen them play defense like that in any game before.
Absolutely. Land them off below with 20 over there. Disney at 19, and then Dax 17 with Kessel at 17. So that's the takeaways. What about the INTs, man? INTs, look at that, land them off 57 here this week. So he's doing a great job. And we mentioned how good the Bananas. This guy wasn't really on the stat board on there. Ian DeBrian, and I think he played defense here for them too. You got to understand that on there. He had 7 assists, 7 points here this week. Tremendous 53 interceptions. I didn't get to call his name. Like I said, he didn't score any goals here, but his takeaways and INTs are up there. Shout out to Ian DeBrian, getting his name out there. Dangos also a great week here for the Gamers. Like I said, they had that big win against St. John this past Saturday. 45 INTs for him. And Ploop, 43. Disney right below him at 41 for the INTs. Let's see who were the big hitters this week, man. The big time laying the bodies. Your boy Flex.
Yeah,
man.
Always.
Nobody even close to him below that. 28 Dax. Ploop with 23. BC Ran always laying out people there, 19. And Kessel with 19. So Flex, the big hitter here this week.
He'll likely lock down that big hitter award at the end of the season. He's a freight train, and you don't want to get in his way.
Yeah, he's definitely.
He takes the load off of me too, because I play a big build. I hit a lot of people, but when he's doing dirty work out there, it frees me up a bit. So he helps me out with that in that sense.
Well, good thing he's on your team. You don't got to go against him.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be on the ice a lot more flat on my back.
Nice. And the last category I want to see here, who spent the most time in the box, man? Let's see. Let's take a look here at the penalty minutes. The category you don't want to be on here, what we're going to mention here on the show. And Disney, 15 PIMs. I mentioned this earlier on the show. Yes, he's contributing to the team, with the takeaways, with his INTs. He's got great points. But maybe it's the penalties, man. Maybe that's what needs to improve on there. 15 penalty minutes, not a good thing. Below him there, no surprise here. BC Ran, very aggressive player, and doesn't get caught a lot with the penalties. 14, below him. Landemorph with 13. And I mentioned Caberlet. The only bad thing I don't like about him is the penalty minutes. Outside of that, tremendous asset to the Orangeville Bananas.
Yep.
LeBronto with 10, and Owen Wilson with 8 with shotgun. That's the penalty minutes here. What else? Is there anything else that we want to cover? Anything else in the chat? If anybody has any comments, suggestions, ideas, questions here for both me and Rez on here, we'll definitely bring that up on there. Let me let me pull up the schedule here for tonight. So tonight it's gonna be St. John against Lag. You'll see Orangeville Bananas, 2-game series there against No Life Gamers, and Penis taking on the Hamilton Hammerhawks, which should be the main event here tonight, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tune in. Like I said, we'll definitely have the multi-stream on that. And I want to give a shout out to everybody that's been streaming. You guys have been tremendous here in the league.
Yep, a lot of people
for me for the shows, which has made the shows to what it is now. It takes a community to do it. It's not just me back here, doing a thing. Anybody could get on the mic, on the camera, on there and do that. But if you don't have the community to do it, you won't have that. And even with this late show here tonight, we got people here in the.
We got a few people, yeah.
Man, it's just crazy,
We got some, we got some Nighthawks in the late night league, and it's a good time slot because there's not a lot going on. So why not? Why not hang around, chill out, shoot the shit, listen to us, and talk about what's going down, and get ready for the games coming up.
Absolutely. And that'll be coming in a couple hours tonight.
A couple hours, just a few hours away.
Man, right. Awesome. But the card will be back on there. Next week. I'm sure it's going to be back to the regular scheduled time. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have all the graphics that he does. I mean, he does a tremendous job, tremendous work. He's got the whole intro on there, then all those slides, everything that comes in. I mean, he puts a lot of time and effort
for a late night show. I think what you've done is more than sufficient. But
12:30 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go all out either. So, but the good thing here, though, I'll give you this: I'm going to be here all 3 nights for the streams here: Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, all 3, with the multi-stream play-by-play there for you guys. So. That's a plus, man. That's what we're getting here this week.
And I'll be available on Friday, so I'll be in the booth there with you, watching the games go down.
Awesome. And you know what I'm thinking I might do? I might start this week. I'm going to do it with tonight's games. I'm going to pick out my best stars of the night, man. Because I don't want to take away from from this show. You guys do more on the weekly basis. I want to do it on a night based. Thursday night. So if you're out there playing, even if it doesn't matter about whether it's playoffs or not, as a player yourself, I'm going to do 3 stars. So basically, I'm going to take like the best forward, defenseman, and goalie that night, and we're going to list them. And then come Friday night show, I'll announce that. And maybe I'll pick out maybe one of the top highlights that night too. Maybe I'll throw in there. And make sure Lacar is also looking for those. Have those posted in the clips, man. This is a guy that's putting out like what $75 he said for that, his own money. Yeah. So look for that. And anything else, Rez, you got on your plate here?
No, I think we covered mainly everything. We don't need to go over every single statistical category. We basically got it all out there. I mean, what we could talk about if you want to just get a little hypothetical with, we only have a few weeks left before the season comes to an end and we go into the playoffs. And I wouldn't say the seeding and everything is exactly locked, but I don't think there's a few teams that aren't moving. We know Team Penis is going to be in the playoffs. We know Hamilton Hammerhawks are going to be in the playoffs. No Life Gamers is a lock pretty much, unless they just have disastrous 2 weeks coming up. So let's I want to you watch all these games. You're on the sidelines. You don't actually you're not playing, so you get to see everything every night for the most part. What do you think? Let's start with your thoughts on where do you think the seeding is going to end up? Do you think it stays as is, or what do you see in that 1 to 4 spot in your personal opinion?
Can we wait till tomorrow night?
Yeah, we could.
I think the number 1 spot does come down to tonight. I think who wins this series here tonight between Penis and Hammerhawks will lock in the number 1 spot. Because I think it does a lot. Should Penis lose or should Hawks lose this series, I think it's kind of also going to bring the team down. And I think the other team is just going to end up going away with it and capturing that number 1 spot. Who's it going to be, though? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Penis? Is it going to be Hawks?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not, I'm not trying to kiss anybody's ass here on there, but I am taking the Hawks. I think the Hawks win tonight and do prove that. I think you guys been playing a lot better lately, where Penis has not, man. If this was beginning of the season, I would take Penis, but something has happened with this team. I don't know if it's the ghost of Ed out there, or
where is Ed actually? I've heard a few people say that. Ed, I hope everything's all right. I haven't heard from you forever.
So is it that? But we'll see. It's definitely gonna be a battle. It's gonna come down to it on here.
I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for it.
It could be a split series too, so we don't know that. It could be a split series here.
Maybe I'll stream. I know you get people who stream the games for you all the time, but maybe I'll stream that one just to give people a perspective of my camera view.
Nice.
A lot of people don't know why I play in action, but
But the
give it a different perspective.
Reason why I'm taking you guys to have the number 1 spot on there right now, you guys have a 9-game winning streak, man. Have won 9 games on there, and like I mentioned before, least penalized team in the league, least goals allowed in the. You guys have the tremendous goaltenders there from you guys, and perfect in overtime. So we'll see if one of these games goes into overtime. Will that continue on there? You guys have not lost any games in overtime on here. We'll see what happens here this week.
Now that you said it, though, I'm afraid what's going to happen.
The jinx. Oh, man. So that's how I have it. I'm going to flip those two. I'm going to say Hawks finish number 1, Penis number 2. Gamers locked in number 3. Lock them in right now, man. Number 3 spot. I don't see them moving up or low. I just can't. I'm sorry, man. I don't see it. I just think there's too much points between the Hawks and too much points to drop there. So I think they finished number 3, and then number 4 spot, man. I'm still gonna say St. John, man. I'm still gonna say St. John. The fact why on here, Rez. They had a bad week, man. I mean, you might not think 2-3-1. I think it was a bad week, man. I think it was a bad week. They got shut out. I mean, they got beat by Penis. Then they finished a week off 3-game losing streak. And I think it was a bad week for St. John, but they're still at number 4. So if they have a good week, I think they lock in the number 4 spot, and that's all they got to do. Right now they're on top of both Lag and Bananas, so they just got to win it, man. So that's my top 4 to finish that. Looks like we may have lost Rez on there, which is fine. I want to thank everybody, though, that tuned in. Let's see if I got him back on.
I don't know. I have no idea what happened. My phone just restarted, and I have no idea. My bad.
So what I said, so basically, I still see St. John at that number 4 spot because, like I said, they had a bad week and they're still at number 4. So I think if they get a good week here this week, I think they could lock it in for that number 4 spot. So I keep St. John at number 4.
Okay.
So that's my number top 4. Sorry, Bananas. Sorry, Lag, man. I it happening, man.
I think it's going to get interesting. I think it's going to get really close with these teams. I see some of these teams pulling out some wins that we might not see coming.
If St. John does the same that they did this past week, I think one of the teams, either Lag or Bananas, has a good week here this week and could be in that matchup there with them. So, but it's going to take for St. John to have that bad week again. But
yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's not. I think St. John is going to turn things around here this week, and we'll see what happens. So that's my top 4, man. What about you? I mean, you can't go against the Hawks, right? So, I mean, that's kind of hard to say, man.
Listen, like you said, tomorrow with this matchup, this is, I guess, the perfect matchup to have to start the week because, this is really going to set the pace. This is going to set the tone. So, we're going to have to come out really strong and give it everything to play against this team. And, if we, manage to pick up these 2 wins, if we split, it's okay. But if we manage to get both of these games, I think it's going to be huge because, like you said, we've been on a winning streak and, we play tough games every night and, we get it done. So if we could get those 2 big games, I think the rest of the week will be a bit easier in that sense, not to, put down any other team out there, obviously. But, if we get it, obviously I see us obviously in the first spot, like you said. Unless, maybe match up again against Penis in the next week after. I don't know the schedule. If that happens, things could change once again. But it's obviously going to be those 2 teams, 1 and 2. I really don't see No Life Gamers moving anywhere. I think third spot is pretty much going to be theirs unless they have a really bad 2 weeks. If that is the case, like you said, Sam Squanch staying in that 4th spot. I see Sam Squanch possibly taking that 3rd spot if No Life Gamers have disastrous 2 weeks. I don't see that happening. I think 3rd spot is definitely going to be theirs. With the 4th spot, it looks like Sam Squanch could very likely be that 4th spot, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that one of these 2 other teams could possibly start winning some big games. Is it going to be enough to get them into the playoffs with only a couple of weeks left? Maybe, maybe not, but I think that last 4th spot could possibly come down to the last week. So, as is, I'll keep it the way you have it, 1 through 4, but I think it's going to get interesting.
Absolutely. All right. So we got that. I know King Manoa's point there, prediction who's going to win the cup on there. I still
tough.
I still see it on here at this point. I still see it's going to come down to the Hawks and Penis as the finals on there. I still have them the top 2. Will there be upsets in the playoffs? Very well,
possible.
The best of 7 series. You also got to understand, how availability ticks in. It's a summer season here as well. So can there be an upsets? Hey, look, we saw St. John beat Penis this past week. We saw you guys beat Penis on there, and so it definitely, every team's beatable.
Absolutely.
Nobody has a perfect season here like they once had. So
and playoff hockey is completely different. It really is. You can play a whole season. It doesn't matter. Like come playoff time, depending on the lines, you obviously want to put your best players out there. But there's a different intensity, and people are not as free with the puck, and they play smart hockey in the playoffs because it means something because you lose and you're done. So you can't take any team lightly in that sense. So those records would mean absolutely nothing once that puck drops in the first playoff game. Anything could happen. So like you said, records they're great, and being in a good spot positionally to have a chance to do better is always awesome, but you can't take any team lightly, even if it's a team that has more losses than wins.
Absolutely. All right, well, Rez, that's actually all that I really had on here for breakdown. I want to thank everybody that tuned in here live. If not, you guys could always check the replay. We'll have the recordings posted on there, and like I said, Lakar will be back next week. for this. So, we wanted to put a show together here for you guys. We want to stay consistency here, keep that in the league, which we have. Every week we've produced a weekly show. We've produced multi-streams here on all the games and stuff. And we're going to try to continue that, finish here for the season. I'll see you guys later on tonight. Big matchups, games coming up.
A few hours away.
On there. Rez, thank you as always, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. See you guys tonight, man. When the puck drops, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, late night hockey for the XOHL. Big key matchup. Hamilton Hammerhawks go up against Penis for that number 1 spot. Will things change? Will the standings change after tonight? We'll find out. Good luck to all the teams on there. And have a good night, everybody.
Later, guys.